Welcome, everyone. All right, let's just dive right into this explainer. Today, we're exploring what I think is literally one of the most fascinating concepts in all of human psychology. We're pulling from Dr. Joseph Murphy's classic 1963 book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. We're going to unpack the actual mechanics of how your mind works, and more importantly, how you can fundamentally change your reality. I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through this, so let's get started. Right off the bat, the material poses some of life's biggest, most glaring inequalities. I mean, think about it. Why is one person a massive success and another an abject failure? Why is one person just living this joyous, prosperous life while someone else is constantly fearful and anxious? Or taking it even further, why does one person conquer a so-called incurable disease while another doesn't? It's so easy to just blame luck or your circumstances, right? But Dr. Murphy points to something entirely different, something that is 100% within your control. And this brings us to the master key for this entire explainer. The quote goes, "As a man thinketh in his subconscious mind, so is he." The ultimate answer to all those profound inequalities we just talked about, it doesn't actually lie in the outside world. It's hiding right there in the unseen depths of your own mind. It turns out your habitual thinking, the mental imagery you just hold on to every single day, is actually molding, fashioning, and literally creating your destiny. So here's the game plan for today's explainer. First up, the treasure house within. Then we'll look at the captain of your mind. Third is the universal healing principle. And finally, we'll wrap up with techniques for subconscious programming that you can literally start using tonight. Let's build this up step by step. All right, Section 1, the treasure house within, the limitless power waiting to be released. Inside every single one of us is this infinite power, which is perfectly represented here by the number 12. And the crazy thing is, you don't even need to acquire this power, you already possess it. Infinite riches, endless solutions, they are all stored deep down inside you, just waiting for you to open your mental eyes. To put that into perspective, let's use a super powerful metaphor from physics. A magnetized piece of steel can lift about 12 times its own weight. 12 times. But if you take that exact same piece of steel and demagnetize it, it won't even be able to lift a tiny feather. And you know, this perfectly describes two very different types of people. You've got the magnetized person, full of confidence, full of absolute faith. And then you have the demagnetized person, who completely paralyzes themselves with fear and doubt, always saying things like, well, I might fail, or what if people laugh at me? So the absolutely crucial takeaway here is this. The law of your mind is the law of belief. But what actually is a belief, right? It's really just a thought in your mind. That's it. The book drives home this incredible point. Your experiences, your daily events, your conditions, they are nothing more than the automatic reactions of your subconscious mind responding to your habitual thoughts. It is not the external thing you believe in that brings the results, it's the belief itself, operating almost like a hardwired mental law. Moving right along to Section 2, Captain of Your Mind, understanding the dual nature of your intellect. Now, if we actually want to tap into this internal treasure house, we have to understand how our mind operates on a daily basis. So picture it like this. Your conscious mind is deeply rational. Think of it as the captain on the bridge of a massive ship. He's looking through the instruments, surveying the waters, and shouting out orders. Your subconscious mind, on the other hand, is completely irrational. It's like the crew of men down below in the dark engine room. Now, those guys in the engine room, they have absolutely no idea where the ship is going. They just blindly, obediently follow whatever orders the captain gives them. If the captain yells out a faulty command, the engine room is going to drive that giant ship right onto the rocks without a second thought. They do not question the orders. Okay, so how exactly does our captain give those orders? Well, it's all through suggestion. We have two main types here. Autosuggestion, which are the suggestions you're constantly feeding yourself, and heterosuggestion, which are the suggestions you soak up from everyone else. This is literally the direct programming language of your subconscious. Think about it. Since we were babies, we've been bombarded with negative heterosuggestions, right? Things like you can't do that, you're gonna fail, or life is just a total grind. And the scary part is, if you consciously accept those suggestions, the crew in your engine room takes it as a direct order and acts on it. Let me just pause here and ask you, how often do you say this exact phrase? I can't afford it. Because, wow, this is a massive, glaring red flag for your subconscious. When you say this, your subconscious literally takes you at your word. It will make entirely sure that you will never be in a position to buy what you want. Dr. Murphy shares this wild story of a young university student in Los Angeles. It was right before Christmas, and she was staring longingly at this incredibly expensive traveling bag in a store window. And she was just about to sigh and mutter those exact words. But right at that moment, she remembered this teaching, and she completely flipped the script. Instead, she firmly told herself, "That bag is mine. It is for sale. I accept it mentally." By doing that, she basically marched down to the engine room and handed them a totally new command. She filled her entire mind with the clear expectancy of owning it. And you know what happened? At 8 o'clock on that very Christmas Eve, her fiancé gave her a gift. It was the exact same bag she had mentally claimed at 10 o'clock that morning. Her subconscious just found a way to bring it to life. Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, the universal healing principle, how the mind reconstructs the body. So, if your subconscious can somehow attract physical objects like a bag across a city, what in the world can it do to our physical bodies? I absolutely love this ancient proverb. The doctor dresses the wound and God heals it. The idea here is that whether you're relying on modern medicine, having surgery, or doing mental treatments, all of that healing ultimately relies on the innate life principle already inside you. A highly skilled surgeon might go in and remove a physical block, sure, but it is actually your subconscious intelligence that does the heavy lifting of knitting that tissue back together. And history is just packed full of this exact mechanism at work. Murphy points out some incredible historical examples. He talks about a skin malignancy being fully cured through targeted prayer and affirmation. He recounts the story of a woman who actually regained her sight at Lourdes entirely through profound blind faith, and even a boy who overcame spinal tuberculosis by using repeated affirmations until he could walk again. Now, the catalyst in each of these stories totally varies. Prayer, blind faith, affirmations, but the underlying mechanism, it is always exactly the same. It is the subconscious mind responding to absolute, unwavering belief. So, what's your biggest takeaway from all this? Your subconscious is this relentless 24/7 force that is constantly driving you toward harmony. It always tends lifeward. I mean, science even shows us that we rebuild an entirely new physical body every 11 months. Your subconscious's deepest, most primal instinct is self-preservation, and it works continuously via kinetic action even while you are fast asleep. In fact, sickness is actually abnormal. It's really just the result of our conscious minds interfering with this perfect natural process through chronic fear and worry. Okay, final stretch. Section 4, techniques for subconscious programming. Practical steps to change your reality. Now that we really get how this engine room works, how do we actually use it? Let's look at psychotherapist Charles Bowden's sleepy technique, which is beautifully simple. Step 1. You just relax your body into a drowsy, sleepy state where your conscious, rational effort is totally minimized. Step 2. Condense the idea of whatever you need into a brief, simple phrase. And step 3. Repeat that phrase over and over to yourself, just like a lullaby. Murphy shares a story of a woman who actually used this to win a bitterly contested inheritance lawsuit. Every single night, she just lulled herself to sleep repeating the phrase, "It is finished in divine order." And guess what? Within 10 days, the opposing side unexpectedly reached out and offered a totally harmonious settlement. No way, right? But it works. And here are a few other incredibly powerful tools for your toolkit. First is the visualization technique, which is all about vividly seeing the finished, successful result in your mind's eye. Then there's the mental movie method, where you're basically directing and acting out the perfect scenario in your imagination. And finally, the thank you method. This one is huge. It's about feeling immense, overwhelming gratitude before you even receive the outcome. Take a guy from the book whose name was literally Mr. Broke. I know, right? He completely escaped deep poverty by repeatedly affirming, "Thank you, Father, for my wealth," over and over, until that feeling of wealth just dominated his mind. And eventually, it led to a massively lucrative job offer from an old employer. Well, all of this brings us to our final and definitely most important question for you to ponder. What exact blueprint are you handing over to your subconscious tonight? Remember, the crew in the engine room never ever sleeps. They're going to take whatever thoughts you're holding on to right as you drift off, and they're going to get straight to work building your tomorrow. So tonight, choose life, choose health, choose abundance. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and sleep well.